Hello, 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 everyone. This is your girl Shanidra with Beyond the Cover. Yes, where you will discover what it is and what it's going to be. Now, as you can see on me, we have our more too classy boutique dress. Now, this is a dress to impress. This is the blue. This is a blue dress, so yes, we have this wonderful flowy. So I love this side. Um, so we have this dress available. This is our more too classy boutique dress. I have on Shalita's paparazzi bracelet. It is very cute and classy. It goes perfect with this, my opinion. And we also have our pink and black a more too classy boutique dress as well, that you can actually pair with whatever you want to pair it with. So, as you know, before we get into the show, I'm going to play this quick video for you, and we will be right back.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
So, as you saw, um, we have uh, the Roku channel, which is called Beyond the Cover, where you discover exactly what it is and what it's going to be. We also have our YouTube, which is called Let's Dig Deep because we dig deep. As you can see, we're gonna we're getting to the root of things on today. This is a deep conversation that God has me to discuss on today, so that's what we're gonna do. So you're gonna need your coffee mugs, sweetheart. Gonna need your coffee mugs. So this one says, "Dream big, work hard, and make it happen." You can dream about it all day, but then you got to put the works in it. Remember what we talked about last week? Faith without works is dead. So you can dream big, work hard, and then make it happen. Period. This will keep you encouraged. So we do have these cups available, these mugs for you to sip on your tea. As you can see, we still have our more too classy glasses. Um, since I didn't bring another pair, we have these in different colors. So we have this available. These are only $10. We have some that have the diamonds on it that are $15, but these are only $10. So this actually goes well with what I have on right now, and it actually could go with this dress as well. Now we also, I sold 7 dresses at one location. Um, so I'm starting to see that with my more too classy, a lot of people like a lot of color and a lot of print. So that's why I showcased this dress on today because um, my all of my except for the black and white one, I don't think she got it. I hope she didn't get it. But the lady got the colorful, the ones I call newspaper dresses. She got those and some more dresses, and then the other lady it was just color. Like people are wanting color in their life. They want to brighten it up. So I know what to buy. We have jumpsuits coming up. So we're going to be selling, selling, selling. Also, we have so many surprises for you. These were also being sold as well. I only brought 2 to the pop-up shop this weekend, but I'm gonna bring more because I sold out. Uh, so we have these, darling. You are fabulous. It comes with this mug that I just showed you. So now you see how big the mug is in action. It comes with the journal and the pen. So it comes with this type of pen right here to let you know that you are a diamond in the rough. And it also comes with that journal. I wrote in my journal, um, which we have a few of these left available. With God, all things are possible. So that's what I'll be getting into, because we have to, number one, know the definition of envy and self-hatred, because God has us to discuss this on today. So that's what we're going to do. So, uh, as you know, the trending now is that we will be actually at a pop-up shop on, don't look at the date. We'll be at a pop-up shop on Thursday. Pop-up shop Thursday. And at the Botanical Gardens. So if you want to come out and support the vendors that will be at the pop-up shop on Thursday, um, you can do so. I will be there. I will bring some more dresses to impress. We are, oh my gosh, we are expanding. We now will have wedding and prom dresses. So God is just upping it. He's upscaling everything. So, and it's just dropping in my lap. So we just have to stay in position when God is ready to bless. So we don't be stressed. But we're going to get into the topic of today, which is a touchy and sensitive topic. So I'm going to try to be very gentle with this topic because I know how serious this topic is. And it's very serious to God because he said that envy is rooted in self-hatred. And, I pondered on it and, led to my own understanding. I'm like, well, God, what does that mean? But in reality, if I give you scenarios, in reality, we deal with this all the time. I know specifically myself, I have to deal with, people that have self-hatred towards themselves, get envious or jealous of me for absolutely no reason. So I experience this daily. And it's just for self-hatred in themselves, for something that they chose not to do, or something. So we're going to go into the definitions, number one, so that we all can have a clear understanding of what self-hatred is and what envy is, and how envy is rooted in self-hatred. So we're going to see how that combines and how it is put together and what God has to say about this stuff. Because we all know that part of the commandments, the 10 commandments, that he gave Moses, was that we should not covet what someone else has. Basically, we should not want what someone else has. But Facebook and all these social media have people being envious and jealous of one another based off false stuff half the time. But envious and jealous and coveting what someone else has. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper. We're going to go get to the root of it so that we can change our ways and move forward from our past. So now, self-hatred is an intense dislike of oneself. So you intensely dislike yourself. That's what that means. Symptoms of self-hatred is of many personality disorders, including borderline personality disorder, as well as mood disorders like depression. So most of these people are depressed people. It can also be linked to guilt for someone's own actions that they view as wrongful. Some synonyms for self-hatred is self-disgust. They are disgusted with oneself. Self-pity, they want everybody to feel sorry for them and, pity me and pity, look down on everybody else. Self-righteousness, they make themselves righteous, not of God, but, self-righteousness. Hopelessness, feeling hopeless, um, feeling like, there's no hope for you or whatever. Self doubt, doubting that you don't have any abilities to do certain things due to your self hatred towards yourself, and what you put in your mind that you can't do. Has nothing to do with what God told you can do, but it's in your mind, your self hate of yourself, and feeling worthless. Worthlessness is one of the synonyms for self hatred. So, how does self hatred go with envy? Well, let's look at the definition of envy. Envy is a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possession. Basically, coveting what someone else has, which is a sin, which is against the commandments of God. So that's why I'm trying to break it down so we can be aware of some of our actions so that our actions can turn into what God has us to do. And if we're not aware that we are being envious or jealous or we're hating ourselves, then, we're not going to fix it because we don't know about it. So that's why I'm here to give the definition and shed light on it. So it says a feeling of discontent or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions. Um, someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. Envy means jealous, a desire to have what someone else has, bitterness, and it causes spite. It's a feeling of unhappiness over another's good fortune together with a desire to have the same good fortune. So we're dealing with the Cain spirit, um, which I always discuss the Cain and Abel because Cain simply killed his own brother uh, based off his own self-hatred. Basically, he killed his brother for no reason. It had nothing to do with anything that Abel did to him. Abel did not do anything to Cain. So we read what it says about Cain and Abel. Abel didn't do anything to Cain. Abel loved Cain, genuinely loved Cain. But Cain was so bitter and jealous of Abel based off the favor of God on Abel's life. But God told Cain before he ended up letting this envy and self-hatred, because because it says self-hatred is a guilt for someone's own actions that they view as wrongful. So he realized after God favored Abel that, he had a wrong act. So he had a little self-hatred. He didn't, now we don't view that as self-hatred, but that's what the definition is. So he had self-hatred towards himself, which caused him to have envy towards Abel. Again, Abel did not do anything to Cain. Cain just hated Abel based off the favor of God on Abel's life, just for Abel doing what God had him to do. All Abel did was gave God his best, and he was blessed because of that. Well, Cain wanted to give him anything and do whatever he wanted to do and thought he was going to get blessed. But God said, won't I too give this to you too if you too do what I say? So we are having self-hatred, which is rooted. We're having envy, which is rooted by self-hatred for absolutely no reason. We are hating people and being jealous of them for something that they have no control over. Joseph's brothers hated his guts. They try to get rid of him. But see, you can't touch God's children. But they try to get rid of Joseph. Try to sell him off, because he was his father's favorite, and he had these dreams and these visions and all this stuff, and they didn't have that, and so they became envious of him based off their self-hate. It had nothing to do with Joseph, but Joseph had something that they didn't like, that they wanted to be and that they liked, but they realized that they don't have that. But see, just because you don't have what Shanidra may have, you or who else, Amy, Billy, Joe, whoever, doesn't mean that God doesn't have something for you. But if you keep letting that self-hatred stir into your heart and it plants itself into your heart and you become envious and jealous, it will cause you to murder or try to harm or hurt someone else for nothing, and that will cause you to be cursed. Because no matter what Joseph and them tried to do, Joseph brothers tried to do to Joseph, it didn't stop what God was going to do for Joseph. Joseph was they still ended up having to bow down like Joseph told them. You're not stopping nothing. So it's best to not be stressed and be blessed. It's best to figure out, hey, why do I not? What is, because I would ask people, what did I do? Nothing. I just don't like you. Okay. Oh, well, that has nothing to do with me. And that's another thing for people that are like me. With that, when somebody don't like you, that has nothing to do with you. If you know that you ain't done nothing and all of that, that has absolutely nothing to do with you. It's because of their self-hatred. Envy is rooted in self-hatred. You have something that they wish that they had. And my mama always used to tell me this. They just jealous of you and they just this and that. I'm like, for what? I don't have nothing. Or, what are they jealous of me for? They can have this too. Or, what people will be jealous of you for just petty stuff. Because you have kids. Because you have a boy and a girl. Because you are, whatever. Stuff you had no control over. The favor of God. But they don't know half the stuff you go through. They just see this picture. They just see the cover. And they don't discover beyond the cover. So they start hating and being jealous and envious of you and the things that you can do that they could possibly do. Or God may have them to do something else. So that's why at Beyond the Cover Academy, we go beyond your cover. And we help you discover your own gift so that you will be prosperous in everything that you do. But if you keep carrying on this self-hatred towards yourself and having this pity party and wanting everybody to lift you up all the time, then you're never going to be successful because you're always going to feel sorry for yourself and you always want this. You always, and you're always going to want what someone else has. But until you start loving this yourself, see, one of the first things that God has me to teach is self-image. Self-image in God. So I'm building your confidence first, number one. Because you're not going to be prosperous or whatever if you're not aware of oneself. And you can't be aware of oneself without God, period. I did not know my own self without knowing my Father. You can't know who you are outside of whom created you, period. So once we get into that mindset of getting into God and asking God who we are and asking God to show us our gifts, we're always going to have self-hatred, which is envy is rooted in self-hatred. You hate yourself, so you get jealous of everybody else. You have the Cain spirit. So what God is saying, what we not going to do is continue on this path, because it has led into gangs. It has led into all of that, us killing each other for nothing. Cain killed his brother for nothing. Abel did nothing to Cain for Cain to kill him. But he let that self-hatred, because that's what it's called, fester up in him and cause him to kill his own brother. His own brother. Joseph's brothers did the same thing to him. They were so jealous and envious of him, thinking that they could get rid of him because they wanted what he had. They wanted the favor that he had, but you can't. But what God said, you can have this too if you too be obedient. If you too follow the calling and the gifts that he has for you to do. You keep trying to do what everybody else is doing and mocking them and making fun of them, is getting you in trouble. Because at the end of the day, whether you believe in God or not, we all have to answer to God. And if you don't know you, how do you expect him to know you? And people are like, why did the Bible say that? He never knew us. He creates. So that puts a question in my brain. What? That's like our kids. How does that make you question God? Yes, he created you. But that's like our kids. If my kids are acting foolish, I'm like, what in the world? I don't know this child. And tell me when my child come back, because I don't know who this is. This one need to get some act right real quick, because I don't know who this one is. I don't know this. Mine's better come back real quick. And I'm talking to my child, whom came out of me. But if they're not acting like my child, then I don't know who this is. I don't know who they have become. So hopefully you can comprehend it in that aspect, especially for us parents. You know, when our children act, we're like, who the heck? You know, so it's not that we don't know them. We just don't know who they have become. But that's not who I taught you to be. And that's what God is saying. You didn't do what I told you to do. I don't know what this is. This ain't nothing about what I taught you to do. And that's what God is saying. This ain't what... You're not doing nothing that he taught you to do. But you want to come up there, oh, didn't I? No, you prophesied. You prophesied to my people and you led them astray. You judged my people. You didn't love my people. You judged my people. And God has a big problem with that. He has a big, huge problem with us judging his people. He's tired of it. He is sick and tired of us judging one another. And we're not going beyond the cover. We're just going based off the cover and prejudging. We're going all the way, instead of helping one another, uplifting one another. We see something wrong, or, oh, well, oh, she don't have this together. Oh, this and that. Oh, let me call on her. Let me do this. What? No. See, what I'm here for, if I see a need and I can help, I'd rather help you. I'd rather uplift you, sweetheart. Keep your head up, sweetheart. And I'm doing this in my actions. I'm not judging based off of what I see. No. If I see that you are needing help and I can help, I'm going to lend a hand. That's what God has us to do. If we are in God and we're not self-righteous. See, people that have self-hatred make themselves self-righteous. They're righteous in their own eyes. They're not righteous in God. They made themselves self-righteous. They think that they are right, but they're not. So, we're about to get into the word, because this type of stuff is provoking God's wrath. God's wrath against sinful humanity. He's told us over and over not to covet what someone else has, that we're not supposed to be jealous or envious of one another, that we're supposed to uplift one another, we're not supposed to judge one another. He told us all of this, so we have no excuse, period. He's having me to break it down what self-hatred is, what envy is, so that we can understand. And it's not me coming at you because I don't like that. And that's not of God when someone is, oh, and you need to, and you. No, that's not of God. So what we not going to do is continue this self-hatred. We're going to love ourselves. And in order for us to love ourselves, we have to know ourselves. And in order for us to know ourselves, we have to know our Father, the creator of us. He knows all about us. Quit going to everybody else asking them about you. They don't know you. Period. Only God knows you. He knows our thoughts. He knows everything. I enjoy this relationship with God. It is so peaceful. I really don't really be talking to humans all the time. I talk to God all day, every day. I'm telling you, it's a wonderful, just to let it all out and, get it off your shoulders, and he works it out. It's like, oh, I should have been doing this. I should have been over it. I should have been casting my cares and burdens unto him. But I was doing the same thing, going to everybody else. They wasn't trying to help me out anyway. They was just talking about me, listening to talk about me. So, but now this relationship, I did not fool with. I'm an eagle. So I don't have to flop with the crows. So I can soar alone. I go higher where crows can't come. So now, God's wrath against sinful humanity. So we're going to be in Romans. Let me get to my Bible. Romans, the 4th chapter, starting at the 18th verse. Because this is serious. We have to know how serious, because everybody is painting God as this, oh, God can't be mad at me. And God, so you can't be mad at your children then. Remember that. Keep that same energy. Oh, because he's going to forgive. Yeah, and you forgive your children. We can provoke his wrath. And he tells us when we provoke his wrath and how we provoke his wrath. And we don't want to continue to provoke his wrath. So I'm going to tell you, which you can read it yourself. We're in Romans, the 1st chapter, starting at the 18th verse. And we're going to read from there because All right. You know, we should already know how it is because the enemy did not want you to hear the truth. And so we're going to still get into the word and the word of God. So this way, y'all know when stuff like this happens, just know what it is. Just know exactly what it is. But we're going to get straight into the word real quick. Now, what we don't want to do is provoke God's wrath. So God's wrath against sinful humanity. See, the enemy don't want you to know this because he knows this will change your whole life. You will be prosperous in everything that you do. You start changing your ways and knowing what God says is ungodly and all this stuff. But we're going to get right into the words. We are in Romans, the first chapter, starting at the 18th verse. See, this is truth. Why when I speak truth, you don't understand me? Look. But anyways, so God's wrath against sinful humanity. That's what the title is. Romans, the first chapter, starting at verse 18. The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the godlessness and wickedness of people who suppress the truth by their wickedness. Since what may be known about God is plain to them, he makes it very plain to them, to us, because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature has been clearly seen. We've clearly seen, I see it all day in my life. Clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. We have no excuses. He said, do not covet what someone else has. We have no excuse. That's in the commandments. So this self-hate, this envy is rooted in self-hatred. Now that we know what self-hatred is and what causes envy, we should be able to, just like he tried to warn Cain, to calm ourselves down and be like, wait, why do I dislike this person? What is it? You know, when we start getting to the root of the causes and we start looking at ourselves and we start going beyond the cover, we will discover what it is that God is wanting us to do. He said, has been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. You have no excuse, period. For although they knew God, you can know God all day. The devil knows God, period. For although they knew God, we on verse 21, Romans the first chapter, verse 21. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him, you know, because everybody wanting the glory, and oh, look at me, and oh, me, and oh, look at my clique, and look at this, and look at that. Not a God. That should tell you, number one, they are not a God. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God, nor gave thanks to him. But their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claim to be wise. See, they think, oh, I got my master's degree, I got this worldly knowledge that, you know, I'm so smart. That's foolish. God calls you a foolish person because true knowledge is from him, period. I don't have any knowledge outside of God, period. Period. I'm foolish with outside of God. So you have no knowledge outside of God. That's foolish. Those degrees and all that has nothing to do with God. So it's foolish to think such wisdom is wisdom. It's not. He said, although they claimed to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images made to look like a mortal human being and birds and animals and reptiles. You rather worship and praise your boss and everybody else and everything else. You'll worship the crystal on your chest or whatever other than God. God said that's ridiculous, foolish. They became fools. Immortal. Okay. Verse 24. Therefore, God gave them over in the sinful desires. So he gave them over to their sinful. That's what you want. That's what you want. Oh, okay. You want that instead of me. You replacing that job instead of doing what I have you to do, what I've called you to do on earth. Okay. You rather do that than what okay. I'm here to make you prosperous. That's what God is saying. But they are trying to be prosperous through you. But that's what you want to do. So I'll leave you in that give you your sinful desires of your heart, the to sexual impurity, for the for the degrading of their bodies with one another. He said they exchanged the truth about God for a lie. Like, you rather exchange the truth about God for a lie. You rather worship Santa Claus, Satan. You rather worship him and the bunny and everything, the universe that he created. You rather do that. He said they exchanged the truth about God for a lie. You'll believe that Santa Claus knows when you sleep and knows when you're awake. You'll believe that. You'll believe a lie over God. God can't hear us. He can't see us, God. Oh, you believe Santa Claus, this person that you know is not real. You believe that lie over God. Okay. And you're grown. Okay. I just want y'all to see how foolish this really looks in reality. For a lie, and worship and serve created things. You'll worship things that are created, a crystal, anything but God. You'll worship the tree. You'll worship anything, a rug, whatever. You'll worship anything but God, the creator of you. Makes no sense. The universe that he created. You'll worship that. Anything but giving glory to God. But you're provoking his wrath, I'm telling you. So, not going to be in denial anymore. He said they exchanged the truth about God for a lie and worship and serve created things rather than the creator, who is forever praised. Amen. Because of this, God gave them over to shameful lust. So, you want to do that? That's what you want to do? Go ahead, bye. You do that without me. You don't need me. You think you can do this and do whatever you want to do and all this. Okay. I give you over to the shameful lust. That's shameful. I mean, but that's what you want to do. Even their women exchange natural sexual relations for unnatural ones. Women with women. Unnatural. It's not natural. It's not godly. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust for one another. Are we not seeing this today? But this don't mean nothing about today. That was back in the past or whatever, but it's happening now. I mean, we're seeing men liking men and all this. We're seeing exactly what it's saying. But we're not provoking God's wrath. That was back then. No, we are. In reality, we are. Men committed shameful acts with other men. Shameful acts with other men. It's not of God. Why would God call it shameful if there was something that he allowed? Unnatural. He said this is unnatural. This is not how I naturally made your body. This is not a natural feeling that you naturally supposed to have. That's of me. Shameful acts with other men and received in themselves the due penalty for their error. Furthermore, verse 28, just as they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, so God gave them over to a depraved mind. So you in a reprobated mind. Depraved mind. Meaning you ain't going to know no more than what you know. So that they do what ought not be done. Go ahead. You want to stay stuck in that mind frame? Go ahead. I'm going to leave you right there. They have become filled with every kind of wickedness, evil, greed, and depravity. They are full of envy, jealous of one another, self-hate. Men that are liking men and wanting to be women, and women wanting to be men, they have self-hate. They hate something about themselves. Something happened to them that caused them to hate themselves. I'm gonna leave that right there. Because we have to go beyond the cover. We can't just be pointing fingers and blaming. Oh, they shouldn't be. What happened to you? What happened? Because this is unnatural. So if we get that in our mind and we stick by the word, since we know in our heads that this is unnatural, what happened to you? Let's go beyond the cover and let's discover. Now, they are full of envy. We just learned what envy was. Murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossips. They gossip about everybody. Oh, look at her. Look at him. Oh, this and that. Oh, she need to be and he need to be. They look at everybody but themselves. They can't look at themselves. They hate themselves. Remember, so that's why they don't look at themselves. They look at everybody else. Slanderers, God haters, because you can't love God. He said, how can you say that you are of God and you don't do what I say? Depart from me, worker of iniquity, worker of sin. You didn't do what I said. You didn't do what I told you to do. So you're a God hater. You don't love God. If you're not doing what God has you to do, that's why he said, choose ye this day whom you are going to serve in your actions. We can't continue to say that we love God and disobey him every day. We have no excuse. We can read it just like we read Facebook and read everybody else's business and talk about Will Smith and everybody else. We can read this, get into the word for ourselves. Quit repeating what the pastor said and everybody else and read it for yourself. Ask God to help you out, help guide you through his word. So you can have real knowledge, not this false fake knowledge from the world. Having you thinking that you're so great working for somebody else. Listen, when he gave you a gift. Having you been jealous and envious of somebody else because they putting this person up here and creating American idols, and he told you not to idolize anyone and out. None of this is of God. So until we know better, we don't know. Because people, oh, you should know. And no, there's a lot of things we don't know. We've been lied to so much, we don't know what is right and wrong. So it's important that we learn for ourselves. Now, you don't have to take my word. You can read along with me. We're in Romans, the first chapter, and we're at verse 30. Slanderers, God haters, insolent, arrogant, and boastful. They invent ways to do. They invent ways of doing evil. They are becoming inventive, finding ways to do more evil. Oh, well, I'm a slick. You can't slick God. Just like your kids can't do nothing in your face, or like you don't know. Can't do nothing in front of God. So quit trying to invent ways to be evil towards somebody. Oh no, I wasn't being evil. What is that? Throwing a rock and hiding your hand? Quit doing that. That's not of God. Just because they don't see that it's you, God sees that it's you. That's why you are not blessed. That's why you're cursing yourself. When God said you too can have this too, if you too be obedient. It makes no sense. You invent ways to do evil. They disobey their parents. They have no understanding. No love, no mercy. Although they know God's righteous decree, that those who do such things deserve death. They know what he said. But then yet, I don't know why this happened. I don't know why they died. I don't know why this. I don't know. You. Although they know God's righteousness, we're on verse 32. Righteous decree that those who do such things, deserve death. They not only continue to do these things, but also approve of those who practice them. So we'll congratulate somebody that's having unnatural relations and support them and all this stuff, but somebody that's doing righteous, we don't do it. So today, I don't want you to continue to be led astray thinking, oh God, and he said we have no excuse because we have the Bible is the basic instructions before leaving earth. Period. So we have the basic instructions before leaving earth. So we don't have any excuse as to why we can't read this. Read it for yourself. Why are you? This is like a child that doesn't want to meet their father. It's like, why? No, because of what someone else said about their father. Get to know your father for yourself. See for yourself how he is. Once you get that one touch of experience, and there's nothing nobody else is going to be able to tell you, period. You start hearing and feeling and dealing with God, you won't listen to nobody, nothing. Nothing. I have never. So I've always been strong-minded and had a mind of my own. So this was nothing. I always wanted to follow God. Now I know how to. At first I thought I was, but when God showed me that I was on the wrong path, I hurried up and clearly got back on the right track. So we all fall short of his glory, including myself. Nobody is perfect. But we are all worthy. If he still has you living and breathing at this moment, I can't speak for the next second, but at this moment, you still have time to change. Change your ways. I told you my ways wasn't pretty. When I learned about myself from God and how God sees me, I was like, oh, I got to change real quick because I want you to know me. Now I'm in my Jeremiah seasons. So when stuff don't go on, I'm like, Lord, you know me. You test me. You see me. So, now I'm confident. I have confidence. Because I know that God has me. Because I'm obedient. And I do my best to live right and do right. Now, am I perfect? No. Do I mess up still today? Yes. God said, if any man say that they have never seen the truth, that's not lying. So he don't even believe them people that act like, oh, I've never, and I'm not, and I'm this, and I'm that. He don't believe them. So why are you believing them? Nobody's perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. Clearly. There's no ring on my finger. And I have 2 kids. Come on now. But that's a story. If we start going beyond the cover, because, guys be like, you act like I ain't never proposed to you, and I have been proposed to. I have been asked to be, guys have asked, so I'm openly admitting that. But I take getting married very seriously. And I took, becoming a mom very seriously. I was a virgin all through high school, but if you just look at me now and you're like, oh, she don't have no kids. She got 2 kids and she ain't married. You don't know my story. You don't know. I shot everybody in my high school when I told them I was. They didn't even believe me. So that should tell you something, because they say you was mean. You didn't let nobody touch you. Exactly. So if you go beyond the cover, you will discover that, we don't choose this. I choose to be a single mom at the moment, at this second, So we didn't choose, nobody wants this to happen. But when it does, we can change and do the right thing once we know what we are doing wrong. So that's all I'm here to help you out. Just now that you know better, let's just do better. When I learned my wrong, I do better. That's it. That's all we have to strive to do better. Control our attitudes, because our attitudes don't go away. People still want to tick you off. Even more. Don't even pray and ask that God will take it away, because I told you I was in the middle of praying, Lord, help me out. I'm thinking He's going to stop people from cutting me off. In the middle of my prayer, somebody cut me off. I'm like, what the? But I had to change the way I reacted to things. I had to do that. Because once I was aware of my actions, now I have to focus on trying to change before I flip. What do I need to do? I need to change the way I'm about to react to this. Because now I know the way I was reacting to it is wrong. Now I know I'm causing myself to be in trouble with God because of my actions. Now my problem was, well, they did me wrong. So, I'm in the right. No, let God deal with it. He said, let him, vengeance is his, saith the Lord. So let him, and honey, when he shut down it all, schools, jobs I've worked at, shut down. You don't see it. You don't see National College. You don't see Regency. People that have done me wrong, he has dealt with it. So now I just shut up. I'll control this action because he's going to deal with me too if I get out of line. So, but now I'm aware of my actions. I'm aware of how it wasn't pleasing God. So now that I'm aware of it, it's like I try to, make sure I don't put myself in those positions anymore. I try not to, so it's not that, oh, well, she don't, get angry anymore. And no, Jesus got angry. We all get angry. That's why God said we can be angry, but sin not. The only thing that was wrong with what Will did, he just should have just had a little bit more self-control. That's it. But I have no judgment towards that man. We just have to have more self-control. Like I said, it don't leave us. We want to slap people all the time. It doesn't. So people that, no, I don't want to. You're lying. You're lying. So we're going to start telling the truth. We're going to be in tune with our real feelings. We're not going to lie to ourselves. We're not going to deceive ourselves. When we're not okay, we're going to tell ourselves we're not okay. I need a moment. If you need a moment before you handle your kids, take that moment. Tell them to get out your face. So that you can breathe and think clearly so you can control your actions. So that's all I'm here to tell you. Just nothing hard or bashful. It's just helping you get some act right. Like I had to get some act right. You get whooped too many times and you be like, well, hey, wait a minute. Now, what do I need to do so I can stop getting whooped? That's what gets me some act right. I just want to make sure that I'm in God, because people that act like God don't punish His anointed or whatever, we get whooped quicker than y'all do. I'll be waiting on Him to handle others. We get handled immediately because we are showcasing Him. When we out here, we representing Him. So we can't be acting any kind of way. Just like our kids. You represent me. Okay, and we representing the Most High. So we definitely can't be acting that way. If we act that way, He gonna snatch us right on up. Just like we will snatch our kid up. Like, no, you're not acting that way. You know better. And that's how God looks at us. I know you're not acting like that. You definitely know better. But I'd rather get jacked up and handled while I'm on earth than to go up there and he say, depart from me, work over iniquity, work over sin. He never knew me. We can be in denial and act like, oh, I'm not in sin. And it's better to just face reality and get out of it, period. I tell people to be celibate. I'm celibate. I've been celibate for years now. So it can happen. You can be beautiful and everything. But I know people don't want to hear that. Oh, it's hard. It's not. I'm around fine men all the time. then I'm still not. Regardless of what people think is happening or whatever, it's not nothing happening. I'm in God. So that's all I have on for you guys on today. Let's go beyond the cover so that we can discover what it is that God has